Hi there. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. It's been a while since I did this setup. I've been using the StreamYard and having the double screen. So I just thought I would return to what I used to do and see how that works for me tonight. So I hope you're all doing well. I know this light's shining in my glasses. So I am painting books right now. I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm using these little old encyclopedias and I'm making book stacks. We're going to be using some molds and some keys and some twine. And these are actually for my wedding rentals. So somebody actually already has them rented. I've had them for sale in my shop, and they usually always sell. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. So I have been painting books for a little bit, like a half hour or so, and it's surprising how many that I've gotten done already. So I'm going to put the screen down and show you what I'm doing, and I'll show you. I have some painted already, but just kind of I'm going to do another one and show you the whole procedure. So it may seem simple, but if you do it methodically, then it goes kind of quickly. So is this month flying or what? It seems like it really is to me. I am using Dixie Belle's silk, and the color I am using is Endless Shore. And silk is the paint that's a all-in-one, and it has a sealer and a top coat. It has a base coat and a top coat built in. Okay, so what I've been doing is just putting these books everywhere to dry. So here's my method. It's really super easy. You don't need to worry about, if I was doing a journal, I would do that inside. But we're not doing that tonight. We've done that before. But I'm just going to take my brush and get the outside of these. Remember, try not to do what I just did and get the paint on the pages. But we're just going to go along and get it along those tops. And do the same thing for the edges. And then I just kind of flip it. And I go down these little creases on both sides. And then I get the spine. And then just open it up and paint them. Now these have a little, like, kind of an emblem on them. So I'm just kind of dry brushing that. We're going to put molds on the fronts of some of them and on the spines of others. So the ones that we're just doing the spine, kind of trying to leave some of that detail. And I'm not worrying about complete coverage because I'm going to be waxing these also. So the idea here, now this particular wedding, they're renting a variety of things, like they'll have all kinds of different things on their tables. So some of them will have the book stacks and some of them will have different things. So we have that painted, and I'm running out of room to let them dry, but I have one that's dry over here, so I'm going to switch places. Okay, so we've got a couple books that should be dry, and the basic idea here is that we're just going to be stacking them up and tying them together. But it's more interesting than that. You can just do this. I've done lots of different things with them. I got some stamps, and you can stamp words on them. If you wanted to personalize this for a wedding, for a couple, you could put the names. But what we're doing is we're using a variety of molds. I have some Iron Orchid design, IOD, and I have some redesign with Prima molds, and I have some modeling material here. You could do this part before you ever painted and then paint it all at once. But the reason I like to give it a coat of paint first is because molds tend to shrink. And if you glue it on before you paint it and then it shrinks up on you, then you have like a halo of that green book around. And if you want a white book, you don't want that halo. So that is going to be probably too big for this book, although this detail might be nice. We could do that like at the top and the bottom of a set of books. These are actually my favorite ones to do on the spines of these. So you can do all 3 spines, you can do just one of them, however you want to do it. You can do 2 of them. These borders are really neat to put on the spines as well. And then this is fun too. These are little, keyhole things. So I actually have some vintage keys here as well. And we can tie some keys on. The possibilities are endless. This would be pretty too. We have the cherub. And again, molds and the clock. These are really, some, the egg and dart mold, which is a classic mold. This one is really pretty too, the one that has all the clay in it. I guess it has some cornstarch. But anyway, those ones are pretty too. So many options to choose from. So let's get started. And I'm actually going to work with this first. So we're going to work on the spines. I'm going to close my paint up and put my brush in a bag real quick because silk paint, you don't want to leave your brush sit out. I've found that I'm going to dump these keys out, so I'll make a little noise here. But I have found that when you let the silk paint dry in your brush, that it's difficult to remove. So I'm not a fan of cleaning brushes anyway. So I'm just getting out some of this modeling material I have left from other projects. This is from Redesign with Prima. You could use air dry clay. You can even use hot glue in your molds. And also you can use the 2-part epoxy, the amazing casting resin. So whatever you want to do, it's up to you. So I'm going to put this screen down so you can see. This is some little bits, and I'm just going to not fool around with those. I'm going to get little bigger hunks that are a little more moist. So you always want to keep the clay sealed up when you're not using it. So what I like to do when I'm using one of these, this is actually one of my favorite ones right here. When I'm using one of these, I like to kind of form the clay into a log, and it's just kind of easier, and you just start pressing it down in. This one is like an old IOD mold that I don't even think they have it anymore. I could be wrong. I've had it forever, but they had like first generation ones, and then before when they were with Prima, and then after, and it's a lot of history there, but I'm sure you don't want to hear it. And the important thing is they're still really, really cool molds. Okay, so you noticed what I did was I pushed the clay into the mold, and then I kind of pulled it out and flattened it. You want your mold to be flat on the back because you want it to adhere to your piece. But once you get it kind of pulled away and the excess clay removed, Then you start pushing it back in to the mold. Now, these ones are one of the older ones before they had what's called the micro rim, and I'll show you that on one of the newer ones. So you might do it a little differently if you have the ones that have the micro rim. So some people like to put cornstarch in these. Now, I want you to make a liar out of me tonight, but I don't usually have problem with this modeling material. When I'm using air dry clay, I definitely want to use it. So what I do then is flip the mold over, and then you just are pulling it out. Just gently, just pull it away, and it pops right out of the mold. Okay, I think these are actually called nameplate molds. I'm just going to lay it on top of there. For this stack, we're going to do 2. We'll do 2. Well, actually, here's what we'll do. We'll get the key mold. Okay. So we'll use one of these on the side, and then we'll use one of them on the top. I don't know whether this is a gargoyle, but it looks interesting. That one right there. So it's either a bat, an owl, or a gargoyle. So I'm just going to go with it. I think it looks cool. If it's a gargoyle, they're supposed to protect. If it's a bat, then I don't know. All right, so I probably have way more clay than I need, but that's okay. I'm just pulling it. Oops, that one wants to pop right out of the mold. Look what I've got. Okay, that's a little too soon. We want a little more detail than that. Okay, press it in. Get rid of this excess. And you also want to pull up and the mold, the clay away from that keyhole part, because you want that to be open. So that's another reason why you would want, at least I like to paint a little beforehand my piece, because if it shrinks, then that's all areas that don't get paint in there and they get revealed. So, okay, so I'm pulling this away from the little key as well. So hopefully it'll pop out as easily as the other one did. And it looks like it is. Beautiful. Very nice. Okay, so there's my mold. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this. If you come on and you want to say hi, that would be awesome. Tell me where you are, what you're doing. That would be cool. Let me know if you've ever used these molds or ever made any book stacks. So it doesn't really matter, because no one really knows which way your books go, but I like to stack them like they're supposed to be stacked. Okay, so here's my stack. And what my design plan is I'm going to put one of the molds here, and then the other mold on top. And then we're going to tie it with twine and a key. Okay, so I'm going to put this down again. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Titebond Thick and Quick. This is a wood glue. It's a multi-surface glue, but what I like about it is it is a thick glue, and it doesn't slide around. So if you're using it on furniture and putting your molds on furniture, and say you're working on a dresser and it's standing, you didn't have the opportunity to lay it on its back, then it'll work great for you because it won't slide down. Sometimes the molds will slide down the front of your furniture piece, and that's not cool. You have to tape them. So with these, you don't have to do that. Okay, I have a paper towel over here that I'm going to grab. So I'm just going to take my finger and push the glue to the edges of the mold because you want it to stick down. I have used these molds for everything. I've made jewelry with them. I have used them with hot glue in them. So they're really super flexible, and I've attached them to bangles, and I've painted them with Dixie Belle's patina paint. And there's just so many things you can do with them. They're really cool. Dixie Belle has a new line of bells and whistles products, transfers, and decoupage papers, and I'm hoping that they come out with molds. That would make my life complete. Because I'm definitely, and stamps, that would also make it complete. Even more complete, completer, if you will. Alrighty, so we have some glue on there, and I'm gonna take my middle book, and I'm gonna get this mold, and I'm going to attach it. Have a little glue coming around the outsides, and that's okay. It's soft and flexible, so I'm able to kind of conform it to the book. It's a small book, so it doesn't have much bend in it, but what it does, we're just making it nice and flat with the book. Okay, now I'm going to take the paper towel and just go around the outside and get that excess glue off of there. I did grab my hot glue gun because I was going to maybe use both of these just for the sake of speeding it along. Because sometimes when you're working with different glues, you can work with wood glue or you can work with E6000 or something. But a lot of crafters like to use their glue of choice, and then they also mix it with hot glue so that it'll hold right away for their demo. So that is kind of like basting when you're sewing, I guess. So it's a good idea, and I've done it. But right now, this Thick and Quick is pretty good glue, so I don't think I need to worry about it shifting on me. But isn't that pretty? And this is another opportunity for you to either freehand script or use a stamp on that pristine spot in there. It's so soft. So that's really pretty. And I'm just gonna let that dry kind of like that. And then I'm gonna come back with this mold. And now this will be our top one. And I'm gonna put I guess it's a gargoyle, right over top of that emblem on this stack. So again, we're just pressing it down. You don't want to press so hard that you press the detail out of that mold. Now wax is going to really make this look cool. You can paint right over this even before it's dry. It kind of gets a crust on it like after a couple minutes. So I paint over them, but like I said, they do shrink and sometimes they can crack, but we're going for a vintage rustic look. So that is okay if that happens. It kind of, when it cracks, it almost looks like old world plaster or something, like it's statuary. Okay, just making sure that that is straight. Like I said, this Titebond Thick and Quick is good stuff. Lots of glues. If I held this up like this, that little guy would be sliding down the book. So it's pretty cool that it stays in place. So here's my design idea. that one, and then that one. I think I have it upside down. Yeah, which really doesn't matter, does it? I guess I know. And that one. Okay, so we're going to let these dry just a little bit, and we'll work on another one and then come back to this. So I think I'll set this one over here a minute. So like I said, before I went live, I was painting these, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books. I painted them really quickly. No, I have 8. So I plan on doing sets of 3. I have a set at the store already, and I need 5 at least for this occasion. So what'll happen is I also have these little books from the Dollar Tree, and they have a cool texture on them. They're kind of like a little alligator. And I've done books with these before, like journals. They're really popular when I do the journals. So I could use these in the stacks. I could also use a bigger book, do a, descending size stack. So really doesn't matter if they're all the same or not. So I'll probably be enlisting some of them. So got a couple more books here. So I'm going to grab them, and we're going to make a couple more molds. So this one, I kind of dry brushed that emblem. So that's going to be my top book. I did it again on this one too. Sorry, I have a pop-up thing on my computer that I want to get rid of, or else I can't see you. Go on. Go away. Seriously, go away. Not you guys. The pop-up. I wonder if I can move it. I added something on my computer. Close program. Sorry, guys. Well, anyway, I think you can see me, but I can't see you, so that's okay. I'm going to carry on. So let's see what else. I think on this one, since we're using that cool emblem on top, we'll also take a cool, there we go, it left, design for the spine. I like this one a lot, but I think it might be a little too wide for a book. This one's cool too. So let's go with that one. This one's neat. I like it, but it's really narrow. Like I said, I just think this one's really cool, but I think it would be for a thicker book. Yeah, it's kind of really going to hang over the side a lot, you can see. So this one is a little bit better fit. Okay, so I'm going to put the screen down again, and we're going to fill this one. Okay, and again, we're doing a long kind of cylindrical piece, so I kind of like to make a big thick log or spaghetti strand, if you will. Just something to get it kind of in this shape. And then you can just start pushing it outwards. And if you need more clay, you can get more clay. Sometimes we can pull it off the side and add it down here. It's kind of like adult Play-Doh. It's really, really fun. Okay, so I'm going to press it down and then pull away and flatten that mold. So you guys have seen me use the 2-part epoxy, the amazing casting resin, and that hardens up in about 20 minutes, and it won't shrink or crack. It's hard as a rock, although it's a little bit flexible when you first unmold it. But when it dries, it's super hard. It's awesome stuff. I use it a lot for jewelry as well. Okay, so now that I've pushed the excess clay out, I'm going to pull it back in. Away from the sides. Now on a piece like this, you want to remember I'm kind of making a ridge in the middle, so I want to make sure that's nice and flat so that it adheres to the book. Okay, let's see if we are able to unmold it. Pull it away a little bit more. Okay, here we go. Good start. And these molds are made from silicone, so they're food safe. Don't recommend using the same set for food as you do for crafting, but I have used chocolate in them, and it really is cool. I did a cake, and it really looked pretty. Okay, so again, I'm going to use the middle book, and let's just dry fit it first. Okay, so we're going to have to trim some off the top here. And I'm just going to use my finger and my nail and just kind of pull it back a little bit. And now I'm just going to do the same thing on this end so they are uniform. Okay, so that's the edge of that, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just put it back in with the mold stuff. Okay, so again with the Titebond Thick and Quick glue. And I think that we'll have enough here just with this application because I'm going to spread it out to the sides. Again, if you come on, let me know if now so far we haven't had any internet problems tonight. I blew on my hands or I would knock wood. But I don't know whether using StreamYard kind of makes my connection unstable or not. So let me know if you like this format better or if you want me to go back to the split screen. I think once I have 1,000 subscribers, I can go live from my phone and also have the other device going. So I think that'll be a lot better situation. So share the video, comment, all that good stuff that really helps my channel to grow. And also visit my Instagram page for the instructions on how to win $500 worth of products. All kinds of products. Dixie Belle and redesigned with Prima, and there's candles from the OK Collective Candle Company. All kinds of good stuff. All right. So I'm just making sure that that is actually the perfect width for this spine. And again, don't press it so hard that you press the detail out of there. Okay. And again, this Thick and Quick stuff is so good that it just doesn't shift. So I love that. I love the way that looks. Okay, so that one's going to be in the middle. And this one is just going to have this little thing. So if we wanted to, we could get real fancy on this stack and maybe do a couple other little designs, little thinner ones, since we're not doing anything on the top. Let's do it. Okay, let's do this one. I like that one a lot. So get our noodle here, or our spaghetti. And I might have to open another thing because it looks like I'm running out, but that's okay. We've got more, more open. Yeah, there's another one in there too. Let me see if there's enough in here. All right, got it pressed in, so I'm going to start pulling it out. So I'm liking this silk paint a lot. I just love the fact that it just leaves such a great finish. Okay, making it flat and pulling it in. You know, I guess I didn't need to worry about finishing the end because we had to take some off the last time, right? Here we go. It's so cool, isn't it? All right, let's get this book. We might as well just make another one of those, and then all three books will have a molding on them. I'll wait till I make the other one to glue those. I'll just leave that sit like that. One nice thing about this format is I'm able to put it out on social media ahead of time so that you can just click on the link and watch. So I haven't figured out how to do that with StreamYard yet. So maybe one day get that figured out. Okay, I'm not going the whole way up to the end because I've had to cut the clay off every time, right? I have so much cool stuff going on with the bridal rentals. It's so great that people are starting to have weddings again. So they're renting again, and we're adding new stuff to the inventory. We have show coming up at the U.S. Hotel in Hollidaysburg on May 2nd. It's the Wedding Secrets Unveiled, and I'll be unveiling 3 new additions to our inventory. And one of them is, oh, well, let me see, 2, so 3 of them are all so cool. So I'm excited about that. And then we're also doing another photo shoot, but this time it's a video shoot. And we're doing the collaborative advertising. We're getting our flowers from Peterman's, and Chronix is providing the rings, and Love It is providing the wedding attire, and the Vintage of Decor, of course, is providing the rentals. Sheer Power is doing hair. Hopefully, have a few other people in there for nails and also makeup. I have requests out, and I'm just waiting to hear back from a few people, but I'm sure we'll find somebody eventually. In the end, we always do seem to get everything we need for them, but it's awesome. It's just like we're having it at Mitchell Farms, and also Coda Films is the videographer. So really super exciting. And a girl named Stevie is making us some crocheted sandals for our bride, and those will be available in the store. You don't have to be a bride to wear them. You can enjoy them at the beach. Okay, do you love peeling glue off your skin? It's kind of fun. All right, so time for some glue. More glue to peel. I also like the container here. It's great because it doesn't clog up. That is a problem with a lot of glues. So I really love the packaging. I know it sounds like a trivial thing, but when you're me and you're always grabbing stuff in a hurry, you don't want it to be, you don't want to take extra time to unclog it. Peel off dry glue and find something sharp to put down in there to free it up. It's just pain. So that has a built-in little piece of the cap that goes down in and seals it, or not seals it, but it just keeps it from clogging. So important little detail. I also have another collaboration video coming up, another Dixie Belle challenge with 7, well, total of 7, 6 other retailers from Dixie Belle, and that's so much fun. We partner up, and then each of us are using the same products in a different way. So you'll get to meet some other Dixie Belle retailers because I'll be linking the playlist and also the video of my partner. Okay, so that was a little short. I cut it a little short, but guess what? I'm stretching it. That's the beauty. And if it does shrink up when it dries, that's okay. No accidents, right? Okay, this is probably like a classic mold. It's like almost like a flower detail. So I probably did this one upside down, but that's okay. I don't think anybody's going to pick at it. So I did want this one to be on top because I just like the way that turned out. So that's the way these are going to be. So I'm just going to stand them up so they finish drying. So let's revisit our first stack. I still have some other books here that are painted and ready to go, but let's move on to finishing these up. Okay, so the idea on this one then is to have this one in the middle, and I do think I have it upside down. Okay. All right, so there's the way that stack is going to look. But I need to add some paint to my molds. So I'm going to go ahead and get my brush back out and paint over the molds. So again, if you just come on, let me know if you've ever done these. And, you know, there's probably all different ways to do it, but this is the way I do it. Okay, so I'm just going to paint this guy. Now, I did not bring my dryer down. So again, this is kind of like when you press it on. You don't want to overwork it because you don't want to get rid of the detail in there. I probably should have my dryer, but I'm not going to go upstairs and get it at this point. So, so I just did around there, but as you can see, I have to now paint the rest of the book because it's kind of real patchy. Now, we don't have to worry about doing all of the books because remember, they're stacked and you're not going to see them. So what I'm going to do is just do the binding. I'll do the mold here. I think I'll just put this down so you can see. I'm going to do the mold, and I'm going to do my bottom book here. I'm going to hurry up and do that. Paint dries fast, but I don't know if it's going to be fast enough that I'm going to be able to show you the wax part or not. If I had the dryer, I would. Okay, and again, don't want to get rid of the details. I just love these. It's another one that just has a real pretty rose in the detail of it. Okay, so again, I don't have to paint the whole thing, just the parts that we're going to see. So I don't need to repaint the top of this book. I should probably do the spine on this one. Okay, so hopefully we can get this drying off here a few minutes on its own. And I'm going to revisit this one and paint my molds. Paint the spine of my book here. So now can you see why I like to put a base coat on before I put my molds on? Because if I left the books unpainted, they would be green, dark green. And then I put the mold on and I paint over it, and that's everything looks good. And then the next day I come back and it has shrunk a little. It will shrink probably about 1/8 of an inch. So I'd have a green halo around my molds. So that's why. Trying to move this over here. And this glue really bonds quickly. But that's why I don't want to, that's why I want to give it a coat of paint first. That's what I like to do. Or you can always come back and touch up. I love the way this looks. It looks like old plaster. Again, this color is called Endless Shore, and it's in the Silk all-in-one mineral paint line from Dixie Belle Paints. So Silk is different from your chalk mineral paint. It's not quite as chalky feeling, a little more silky. And again, it has the sealer and the top coat. I just keep saying the same thing over and again. The base coat, a primer, and the sealer or top coat built in. Okay, I'm going to try to avoid the center of my book. So just kind of going to dry brush over it because I want to leave that detail on there because I think it looks cool. Okay, so now you don't want to use water with silk. You don't want to dilute it. Whereas sometimes you do that with chalk paint. And as with the other paints, it is 0 VOCs, so it doesn't smell, which is awesome. And I'm totally not getting this lid on right. I should clean my lids off. You should clean your lids off, so do as I say, not as I do. All right, I'm going to put this one aside. I'm going to bring this one back. Oh, I want to show you too. This is from old cabinets, and I thought that would really look cool on the spine of one of the books. It could be left like it is. I would do something. I'd either fill in these holes or make some kind of stud or filler glued on there so it would look like it was nailed on. But I think that would be really pretty. They're like little wheat shafts. So, and it is a perfect fit for this book. So I just may end up doing that on my next set. I think I would paint over it. But this one would have a really good opportunity for like a gilding wax, which I might do on these too. I didn't bring gilding wax home with me. Trying to get this to dry so that I can do a little dark wax for you. I brought brown wax home. Trying to rush the drying time, but I guess I shouldn't do that. And there's really no way of making it dry any quicker without the hair dryer. I don't think. And I don't want to run upstairs and get it just because I don't want to leave you sitting. I could blow on it. Well, you know another thing I could do. I've gotten you this far, and we've been on for 49 minutes. So what I can do is wax them in the morning when they're dry completely and post pictures on my Instagram like I always do. I do want to show you. So I have regular twine, and I have these keys, and there's a variety of different keys, and I could use my patina paint and make them a little rusty. There's a lot of suitcase keys, which I think that one is kind of perfect for because of the size of the hole on that thing. You want to kind of, those are little details I like to think about. Actually, I kind of like this one, and it fits real well, that little key. So I'm going to kind of keep that out. Like I said, details. But so I can use twine, or this is baker's twine. It kind of has a little bit of variation in there. So you can do whatever you want. So again, I'm going to let them dry like a good girl and then come back tomorrow because I don't want to get paint in my wax. So I did bring home my La Petite brush, which doesn't look really petite, but the cool part is the pointed part of it. I love that for getting in details. I just wish this was dry so I could wax it. But that's what's fun is getting the details, because these books also have like a little edge around them, like a little border. So the wax will get in that too. So that's going to look cool. So look on Instagram tomorrow, and I will certainly post, or Facebook too. Usually I share it to there. That I'll definitely post the finished book stacks, and you can check them out and see if it's something you might want to do. So I really appreciate you joining me. And before I go, just want to tell you, so I had started that you learn something new every day, and it was a lot. So I ended up falling down on the job. So as it turns out, I scrapped that project and replaced it with more about decor, and that's every Thursday night at 8. It's not live. It's an edited video, but I think you'll like it, and I hope you consider watching that. So we have step by step on Saturdays, and that's an edited video also, but it's more of a tutorial on one piece of furniture. So the one on Thursday nights is a little bit of an abbreviated version, and sometimes we go shopping and just more fun things like that, or sometimes we just discuss just design details, so or do little quick hacks and that kind of thing. So I hope you join me for that, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.